Awesome. Hi, good morning, guys. It's a beautiful day outside. We're all very excited to be here. We have Matt with us from Ceros, and we're going to be chatting with him for the next 15 minutes, just kind of about his company. And we're, happy to have you. So, Matt, thank you so much for joining us early. And I'm going to let you kind of take it away. Just tell us a little bit about yourself, your company, kind of inspiration behind it, and get to know you a little better.
Got it. Cool. Well, thanks, guys. Thanks a lot for having us. So my name's Matt Welschlager. I'm the VP of Marketing for Ceros, and basically what Ceros is a platform that allows designers, marketers to create really cool interactive content without any development. So if you think of the world of brand storytellers, retailers, people who want to make just compelling, engaging content. Think of interactive infographics or shoppable lookbooks or stuff with really cool animations that you can click and poke and interact with on the internet. Those things have traditionally been really difficult to create because a designer sort of conceptualizes it and then has to work with a developer to effectively, get it built, figure out where it's going to fit on the website, etc. So basically, the inspiration behind building out Ceros was to try and take all of that work out of it. And so we kind of think of our driving purpose being to unlock creativity and being able to put that power back into the designers and the marketers' hands to go, we want to create something really cool, so we're going to sit down and we can do it right now and simply click a publish button and have a live interactive experience that we can share with the world without having to find someone to code it or develop it. So that's effectively what we're trying to do.
Awesome. So when you guys set out, was one of the problems that you believe the platform can solve, which immediately popped into my mind, was being better at, I don't want to say real time, but maybe relevant time messaging and marketing and content, because I think, I come from the agency world, and I would work on a creative idea for P&G for 14 months from ideation to when it hit the market. And the world changes, and you're kind of always faced with this outdated creative messaging. So how does your platform and our agencies and brands finding that they're decreasing their kind of production timeline and producing more relevant content?
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head. I think that what a lot of storytellers are finding is that they kind of have two options. They can either spend time developing a cool, interactive, engaging experience about some broader topic, or if they want to be really reactive to what's going on in the market or stories that are relevant to their audience, they have to write a blog or shoot out some tweets, and that's sort of the extent of how real time they can do things. So yeah, I mean that's a huge problem that we solve. I don't know that a couple of years ago if that was the #1 priority on the founders' radar. I think the origin of it was sort of in trying to move the world of print publishing online. But as it's evolved, it's become this story of real-time development, and that's the thing that people love. Like a marketer and a designer can sit in the room on our platform and ideate and create and see in real time on their iPad exactly what it's going to look like, decide if they like it, and if so, they just press the publish button. And so you find that folks are able to really quickly react. Where you see that the most is in the publishing space. So someone like Mashable uses us to do interactive infographics, and they can literally have a topic they want to do something on and have an interactive infographic on their website in the same day. And so I think there's a real trend where people want to do that, and people want to create content that's relevant to what's going on. And we've loved seeing them be able to do that with the platform,
So are designers like hardcore coders? Are they like pissed about this? Do they get worried that you're taking some of the sweat out of the process, or does it make their lives easier?
No, I don't think so. I mean, so designers love it because they tend to be the power users on it, and they have this whole world of creativity unlocked for them, right? Whereas you would sort of come up with an idea, hand a bunch of InDesign assets over to a developer and see what they came back with a week later and go, yeah, no, that doesn't really work. I want this to come in a little bit higher and this animation to be slower, and then have to wait a week to see it. And now they're just doing it in real time. And I think from a developer perspective, what we're doing is taking the stuff that's less interesting that they have to do away from them so they can do really cool stuff. Developers have an immense amount of talent, and in the sort of modern world with all the data that you have on a website, there are amazing things that you can develop around a user experience beyond just the the clickable objects and the animations and the interactivity. So I think that they really appreciate it. And one of the things that we did recently was we released basically a development kit that allows them to program the way that the site speaks to Saros experiences. So you still have a Saros experience designed by a designer, but if, for example, a developer wanted to code the website so that when returning users see one experience but new visitors see a different experience, they could do that. So we're trying to give them the tools to play with it while taking the annoying design piece of it away from them. I don't think they mind.
And does this also, I can see this being really applicable to a distributed workforce. So I've seen the demo of the product. Are you finding that a lot of global teams are using this, and you're kind of being able to connect people who aren't in the same room? I know a lot of companies we work with have a lot of offshore dev and design teams, and it can make kind of the sharing just a little bit more difficult. So can you talk a little bit about how it's helping a distributed team?
Yeah, definitely. So, the traditional design tools are really not in the cloud, right? There's the cloud, but they're on people's desktop, right? And that makes it really challenging to collaborate because you do a file and then you send it over and then they work on a file. And effectively, ours is one of the only design tools that I know of that it's effectively like working in Google Docs, where you can see what the other person is doing. You see on the left what page they're on. If they're dragging an object around, you see it in real time. And so you can kind of be on the phone with them and sort of collaborate over what you want this piece to be like. So yeah, we have a lot of global brands that are effectively collaborating on these pieces. New York, London, Milan. Trying to figure out how to build these pieces and then doing it in real time and being able to output something immediately. So it's cool, I think, and I think it's a paradigm shift because there's a sort of tradition that you sort of design in a silo and then sort of figure out and iterate after that. And now we're sort of bringing this new collaborative design element to the forefront of the way designers and marketers are thinking about it, and it's pretty cool.
So is it something that you pay per project, or is it like you get a subscription service that then you can do 10 things a month? How does that work?
Yeah, so I mean, we're a startup, so we're kind of always iterating on exactly what the model looks like, but traditionally, it's a subscription. The clients that we deal with want to create a lot of content,
right?
Not just a one-off piece. And so, they typically subscribe on an annual basis to create as much stuff as they want to, right? Create catalogs, magazines, infographics, interactive microsites, and the subscription allows them to do that.
That's great.
Yeah.
And who needs to know about Saros? So I'm thinking from like a brand perspective, companies like our client Time Warner Cable, who deals with a ton of local advertisers who need to constantly iterate, so they get a piece of creative, but then they need to kind of change that copy and iterate based on local market nuances in a faster speed. So what are the types of perfect brands that you guys think you're totally suited for that need to hear about you? And to that end, are you more focused right now on connecting with agencies and creative in the dev shops, or are the brands directly who are feeling the pain of these problems even though they may not know that there's even a solution for the problem?
Yeah, I think we're doing both. Sometimes we start with agencies and end up talking to the client, and sometimes we start with the brand and then end up working with the agencies. or a lot of companies have the resources in-house. And we love everyone who wants to do cool stuff. You know what I mean? I think fundamentally, we're trying to find the people who are pushing the boundaries on what content should look like and how it should behave. So I think of the favorite people that I want to do business with someday are the sort of legendary storytellers, right? They're trying to figure out how to engage their audience and engage them longer, and that's what our platform does. If you compare a piece where you kind of can click and look at graphics and have stuff expand that explains different pieces of it, you just find that engagement goes through the roof compared to more of these sort of what I would call passive content experiences like blogs, etc. I think the challenge is most companies don't realize that there are tools like Seros out there that would enable them to do this at scale. The minute they imagine doing some kind of interactive experience on their site, they go, oh, that's a whole pain. We got to get a dev team. We got to figure out how it's going to work. And so, you asked me who I would love to talk to Red Bull. I would love to talk to, I saw Coca-Cola do a lecture a couple months ago where they were talking about how, they were trying to rebuild the digital experience to emulate their old offline magazine that they used to distribute. And so these folks are telling stories who care about engaging their audience. To me, is the most. Those are the most compelling targets out there. And then to your point, having a tool that allows them to quickly and easily iterate or create local versions is a huge asset, right? It's a huge asset for just swapping out language but still keeping the content interactive, for swapping out local information, even on we have a couple boring clients who do just interactive brochures for their reps, and they do 30 versions of them, each with a different rep picture in them. So it enables you to kind of control your content but still be able to localize it a little bit. I mean, there's a ton of applications, and we're just sort of scratching the surface on all the ways that we can work with the folks out there.
How do you guys position yourself against the Wix and the Squarespace of the world? Because it seems like there's some crossover, but that you guys have a slightly different focus. Yeah,
that's exactly right. We are not in the website building world, and nor do we want to be. I think there are all kinds of implications that come when you start becoming a website builder, like DNS settings and site and server infrastructure and things like that. What we're trying to do is take that infrastructure out of the picture and create a very kind of laser-focused tool for that interactive content. When you publish something on our platform, you can build it as a standalone site. So a lot of our clients will use it for things like microsites, like sort of 1 to 10 page content experiences. But the other really crucial piece of our platform is how easily you can embed it within existing websites. So when we talk to these big clients, we're effectively saying you don't have to do anything with your existing website infrastructure. Within your CMS, all you have to do is drop this embed code, and it will pull in that interactive experience. So when people build interactive infographics and they want it to sit within the context of their blog, they just put the embed code in. When retailers are doing shoppable interactive lookbooks, they're just doing the embed code at the top of whichever pages they want to do it on. So we're very focused on just enabling those marketers and designers to create that interactive content without getting into the whole game of how you build your website, how you CMS it, how you do all that other stuff that sort of comes with actually building out a fully fleshed out website.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
So I know that we're going to get to meet you on May 18th for our Create event, which is awesome. So I'm super excited about that. And in preparation for that, is there any live example that we and any listeners can go out and look at to know kind of what the platform looks like live?
Oh my gosh, that's such a good question that I'm not ready for. There are a bunch of really cool sites. There is one we did in February in conjunction with NewsCred, and that's just newscred.seros.com /high fashion content, and that's just a cool interactive website. Actually, you don't even need the slash, just newscred.seros.com, and that was a whole piece on sort of fashion storytelling. And the top, I think it's 8 brands, just doing really cool stuff. So you can kind of see how you can build out a microsite, have sort of interactive elements of it, some interactive video that's a part of that. That's the first one that comes to mind, but I can send some more over.
Awesome. No, that's great. That's great. It looks awesome. So thank you so much for chatting with us. I didn't know about you guys, so I'm excited, that's for sure. So, I'm sure that we'll chat more at Create.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. It's a pleasure talking with you.
Bye.
All right, bye.
Bye.